Impact Talk for Impact fans right here on the YouTube, the Twitch, and wherever you get your podcasts worldwide. Audio listeners, everyone, joined tonight by Alisha, Little in the Dark. How you doing,
Spooky
Alisha?
Vision.
Spooky Vision. I thought it was
I'm
Impact
doing
1000.
Great.
Episodes 1 and 2 edition.
That too.
Because it's a big one. It's a big one. It's a review.
It's two big ones.
So big, we're combining them both. So we're going to be reviewing both last week and this week because it's one extended show, 2 episodes. And maybe because some people couldn't make it and some difficulties last week, but we're here tonight. We're reviewing both episodes. But with this duo, we can do it pretty quick because that's what we do. We
speed run.
So for a double shot here, who knows how quick it will be? But my guess will be quicker than you expect. So anything new in the world, Alisha? Since no one saw TNI last week. Anything?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I went. My cousin got married. That was wonderful. I was part of the wedding party. That was a great weekend. I celebrated my 1-year anniversary with my husband. And yeah, just back to the grind of everyday living. How about you, Bill?
Speaking of the husband,
Yes.
we can confirm that both you and your husband did attend Impact 1000.
Oh yeah, we did.
We're going to be discussing tonight. So we were both there for these shows. This is a rare occurrence on the TNI show. Everybody reviewing the show was at the show.
So it's pretty legit.
All right. We can definitely do that. That is exciting. And
I remember.
We kept it under wraps, but we obviously saw some great wrestling up in White Plains, New York for Impact 1000 and 1001. And now we kind of saw how it all kind of came together. And that's what we're going to be talking tonight on. So we will not only be discussing, it will be let's make sure I get the dates right for all these. It will be the September 14th and the September 21st edition of Impact Wrestling on Access TV and the YouTube Ultimate Insiders. But we'll have to. So I know everyone's going to get excited. Obviously, no J-Bone here, so we're not doing the typical J-Bone news. I'm feeling the way because you could say there's a lot of news because there's matches being made. There's all kinds of somebody got fired tonight. If you want to believe that, but
Wink.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on. So instead of just kind of going all news to start the show, we'll go right into the show. Do it a little differently tonight. And as we're going through the show, we'll hit on news. Feel free. Obviously, we'll be highlighting in the chat all night. So definitely feel free to put in any comments there, different news topics. I know, sadly, there were releases at the company up north today. I'm sure that'll be a topic that people will want to discuss. So all things like that can go into the show tonight. So feel free, jump in whenever you like, and we'll keep going. Actually, there's Eli there. Good seeing you up there. We did get a pick together. Very cool. Thank you. And you know what? I do have to, before we get into the review, I have to thank Heel Traci.
I was just going to say.
Thank you, brother. And we can't forget Bell's Boy dropping the big bucks here with a $20 super sticker. Hello, well,
thank
WWE
you guys.
is on a firing spree again. AEW can't keep wrestlers off the injured list. SmackDown's moving to USA Network. NWA has a pay-per-view I can't pronounce. Eddie Kingston is now Ring of Honor champ, and it's fall tomorrow. Where have you gone? But you know what? But that's fantastic because fall, my personal favorite season. So looking forward to that because you got the best weather,
cool weather,
Halloween. It's all kinds of good stuff in the fall.
Spooky season.
So bring it on.
Real quick, I also wanted to point out this little number. Shout out to this guy. It's the guy we
John
met at
Palmer,
the
yes.
show.
Yes.
he recognized me because he heard me yelling serotonin and had to scout me out after the show. So thank you for that.
Serotonin.
That was very awesome.
Were you yelling serotonin in the crowd?
Oh yeah, when Kaz and Traci came out, I kind of went, I like blacked out and went nuts with it. So I couldn't resist.
I did because I ran into him on the way out, and he said he just saw you because you left just before I did. That was very cool. Always good to see everybody out in the wild. So always feel free to say hello. We always appreciate it.
It was really awesome. Yeah.
Thanks for everybody here always watching. The support over the years, unparalleled. So let me bring up my notes here. But very, very good comments. And feel free, keep putting the comments in there as we go along. And
here we go. Before we move along.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
I haven't read the list, but okay. I'll take her anyway. She's great.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of definitely.
She can do a no-handed cartwheel. Come on.
Well, yeah.
Can't argue with that. Yeah, you can't argue with that. That's superhuman powers.
Can't be.
I'm scrolling through the long section of, are they starting yet?
Are they starting?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry. It's a little late. Had some things I had to take care of. I knew it was going to be close to that old time frame, but I wasn't sure exactly. So got a little held up. There was I was helping my parents get the old pool closed. Speaking of fall season. And while the pool was being closed, there was a little issue with the deck, and the deck had a little snafu, little caving in issue. So had to address some things for safety precautions before I left. So I know people are talking safety in wrestling. Got to have safety in real life too. So had to make sure we were on top of that. But now I think we are getting closer to actually reviewing the show. So let me get all this up. All right, here it is. Didn't want to actually go backwards and talk about shows this week. We got to go. We're going back in time to 1 week ago. If you can all remember where you are 1 week ago. But for the start of the fantastic Impact 1000.
Great really, show.
No better way to start the show than, I know we didn't do it on the tips. Oh, and speaking of, Rayline, thanks for the bits. Team Twitch forever. We start out with who else? There's only one person we could. The man that we put as the reward for any donations to the show. The one and only Coach.
Impact Wrestling!
And of course, the Coach, because as he tells us in this promo, he was there for show 1. He's there for show 1000, and you have to have him because he's the Coach. He's also the president of Impact Wrestling. But what do we get last week to start off? We go right to Gail Kim. Gail Kim comes out, the legend, the GOAT of the Knockouts division. Someone who I always say, if you're doing not a Knockouts like Mount Rushmore, just an Impact TNA Mount Rushmore, Gail's on there, no doubt.
Yeah, pillar of the women's division in Impact.
Yeah, so just because she's at the head of the Knockouts, and the Knockouts are, if not the biggest thing that Impact Wrestling's contributed to the landscape over the years, it's right up there with it. If it's not, definitely, it's hard to argue with that. But then we, once again, what does Impact Wrestling do? 1000 episode. I didn't time it, but this is 20 minutes plus of a promo that gets all the Knockouts involved. This is where so obviously you already have Gail out there, and who do you get? The Return.
Summoned.
Now I know at times I don't think you may have had the same impression, but some of my favorites. the beautiful people come out.
Oh, always favorites. Yeah, no, it's exciting, especially it's nostalgic for me because my first ever Impact show was at the 2014 tapings in Bethlehem. And after the show, I was able to meet Velvet Sky and Rexar Spud. And, you know, they were
infamous. My infamous meeting I've talked about many times with Rockstar Spud, where I say, so you're getting the push. And he's like, what is this push you're speaking of? I do not understand what a push is. But yes, and Velvet, always very nice. Never a bad meeting with Velvet.
Oh, yeah, she's so sweet.
Yeah, and
so no, I'm a fan for sure.
TNA did years ago, and I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but especially when they're going to new markets, if I had a suggestion, because this is when we were going to shows. Like I was going to shows for years already, but this is what got a lot of those fans in during that like Spike TV era. Yeah, they had the big platform, great, but when they were doing live events, they had wrestlers after shows that just signed free autographs and took pictures. Not a lot. Like I think the Menagerie did it as well up in Bethlehem one of those nights. Like it was that same
I only went to one
thing where like every night they had like one or two just like kind of around the ring, could just go up, free picks. And now I know the landscape changes, but that does bring you fans. Like it does get people, but like now I'm a fan of that person. Like it's a very good model they had. I think it's be a good idea. Just once again, food for thought. It's a nice thing to offer. Because as you bring that up, that reminds me, and that used to be the regular. That would be at every like Impact house show and TV taping. So, but once again, seeing all the knockouts come out. Obviously, we have the beautiful people, the infamous entrance played up fantastically. Like I know Velvet, I think was like on social media, kind of putting it out there, and like the side-by-side comparisons from like a decade ago to today. And what is there a difference? Still incredible. The music, everything's great. Good job by them. But once again, they come in, and I'll tell you what I popped for that whole thing. Well, we'll get into later. We'll get into later.
True.
But it was a lot of good stuff. But once again, typical. Like, and they got the pop because obviously they should.
Obviously.
But then
a lot of boys became men that night.
Yes. That's always the history we have here. But then we're not done, because remember, going into this, there were going to be mystery partners announced. We get that during this promo as well, because we get all the combatants. They all make their way. Giselle, Savannah,
everybody did amazing on their talking points for this. Yes. Everybody killed it and crushed it. It Trinity, was a very engaging segment as far as in-ring promos and long ones. You know how sometimes they can go on for a while, but I felt like everybody brought their A game with this. It was also the only segment that I could find me and Stefan in the crowd, because Trinity came out. We had our super bright glow sticks that we brought. We brought our own glow sticks. So,
and that's where they weren't prepared with glow sticks, so you really stood out.
That's the one segment,
they did. It was the entrance. It was the entrance because there was a glow stick issue. Remember at these tapings.
I'm a former raver, so I get the whole gimmick, and we came prepared.
Yes, you did, which was very smart. Very smart. I know you had some other ideas to possibly even do even bigger.
I don't think they would have let me in with my big old LED hula hoop, though.
Probably not, but I think that would have stood out. They may have asked if Trinity could use it, is my guess.
I would have been like, hell yeah.
Now, once again, good idea again. That could be something to Impact. There you go. You can use it. We give here on the TNI show.
There's some ideas. Food for thought.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But at this point, like obviously we have Awesome Kong, and once again, I said when it was announced, doing the Awesome Kong with Raisha Saeed, otherwise known as Alisha Flash, cheerleader Melissa. Awesome, enjoyed that. So the manager mouthpiece,
just so nostalgic. It was great.
Yes, that was awesome. But we get the first mystery partner announced, and it is the return of the one, the only, Tasha Steelz coming back.
Yes. I had the feeling that it was coming, that she was going to be
we kind of
swinging back around.
That could be a possibility. Like, we didn't know because we felt like she was going to be back many times previously. That didn't happen. But for this time, for it to happen, fantastic.
Yes.
We've been missing that.
Much appreciated.
So great.
Everybody popped when she came out too.
Oh yeah. No, she's playing up. And once again, I think any crowd would have popped for that, but you're not far from Jersey. So definitely more of a local girl. So I think the fans were really excited to see her back.
Yes.
It's definitely, the knockouts have still been killing it this whole time, but she adds something that obviously has not been there, which is very cool. Very cool.
Yes.
But obviously we're hearing more about her, but obviously she goes around saying she's the greatest because she beat the greatest. So of course the name we thought was going to be returning this whole time had to come back. And that is the one, the only, the legend.
Hardcore country.
Yes. Mickey James. That was big too. What a surprise. Everything was great.
You can't go wrong. So the talent that it was assembled in this ring, just off the charts.
Yeah.
So what a way to start off the first episode of Impact 1000. And we now know at that time they made the match we saw tonight, the 10 knockout tag match, official. So now we know all the combatants. We're good to go. So very cool. Very cool. So we follow that up. We're backstage with Santino Marella, with James Storm, the Wildcat, Chris Harris, friend of the show, Eric Young, and Shark Boy. Give me a shell, yeah. Marella, our good friend, Santino, offers Shark Boy Deputy Director of Authority for the night, which he accepted, which perfect role for Sharky. And, I'm a big fan of the old Deputy Director of Authority. Dango, he wanted the job. He really would. Santino wasn't given to him. I think that's why he hates being a professional wrestler now, is because he could not have it. But it is what it is. But Shark Boy, never a bad thing.
No.
Because
give me a shell, yeah.
Give me a shell, yeah. And you don't have to worry. Business will always get done with him because you know why.
I can turn it on anytime, Pat. Come on, no problem.
You turn it on anytime. We love Shark Boy. So we go from there. Oh, and this is now hold the emotions in check. Because this is where the match
I'll try.
The Feast or Fired match.
Oh,
and
God.
Kudos, because I've seen quite a few Feast or Fireds live. And usually it's briefcases on a pole. I have a briefcase. I don't have it in arm's length right now, but I do have a briefcase. But they were normally on poles. It was a Russo special from back then. But
yeah.
I'm like, I was wondering how they were going to accomplish this with the setup, but they used the structure, the Ultimate X structure, which is very smart to do. And they did, and it looked good. It was clean. It allowed, I think, for a pretty clean match compared to what some of the Feast or Fired matches have been. It's been a struggle to get some of those briefcases.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta shout out the Impact crew on this one because they worked setting up so efficiently and fast. I was like impressed. That one girl was like Spider-Man climbing up, setting everything up.
Did a great
job.
Was
so impressive. Great job.
Yeah, and kudos. And if you don't go to a show, if you're not lucky enough to get to a live taping or a pay-per-view, you won't see it. but the way they do turn around, like their crew is on it. And that goes right to like Ingrid on the floor directing a lot of them. Obviously, like Bravo, a lot of people play a part in this, but they're all doing a great job because
they kill it.
When you go to a TV taping like these, or even a live show, there's no downtime. If you go to other companies' TV, there's a lot of downtime. Like you feel downtime. It drags. And you're like, what are they doing? Like, like they'll be like, all of a sudden you're waiting like 10 minutes to like get something done. You never wait. It feels like you're waiting like seconds, and then bam, you're back in the action. So, kudos to them. Great job. Because that's one of the things you don't see people get credit for that they deserve. But obviously you get the feast or fired match. Okay. So you got tons of competitors in here. You got everybody. I don't even know if we knew everybody that was going to be in here until we saw them here. They
exactly.
Just kind of so
I don't even think. I was going to say I don't even think I could think of everybody if I look back at the match that I was actually there for.
I have to have the list in front of me because I could not. But like you had Crazy Steve, you had Bay, you had Yuya, you had Moose.
Hendry was in it too, right?
Yeah,
Sammy Callahan.
There's everybody. Bhupinder, Kevin Knight, Joe Hendry,
Macklin.
Macklin.
Jay.
Bravo was in it himself.
Yeah, he was. What a troublemaker that one is.
Well, we had Skylar, a lot of people. So we'll just get over. So you had Macklin got a briefcase at first, but then was laid out by Rhino at the end.
Yeah, dude.
So you did have a
return.
Lost
my mind.
Return. Yeah, the Rhino return was I felt we were going to get it at some point, but I was not expecting it there. Like it was kind of a surprise when that one happened. They kind of caught me off guard with the Rhino, which I
had just so happened to look up at the stage just as he had come out to start running down the ramp, and I like lost my mind. He's like one of my favorite ECW originals, so like it's hard not to pop big for Rhino.
Yeah, no, you got to. But obviously, in the end, and then that obviously got Moose one of that briefcase. Crazy Steve got the briefcase. Chris Bay got a briefcase, and Yuya gets a briefcase. So there's your 4 briefcase winners and all that, and all the craziness that was that match. And then obviously that was last week. This week we find out those results. We'll get to them now because
talk about an unpredictable lineup of whodunits. You know what I mean?
We all thought it when it was going on. It's like, because there's usually like, okay. Like
I had to message the group chat and be like, you guys.
Because usually like everybody had something pretty much going on. Like there's nobody that felt like they were writing out or contract was expiring or anything like that. Or just seemed like an obvious choice. This was one guy just signed supposedly the longest deal in Impact history. One guy is a focus in the tag team division that supposedly was re-signed too recently. Then you have another guy that they just spent a ton of time giving kind of an altered character. And you could say that about both the other guys. So it just crazy. So now if it was a couple months ago, you could have thought that for quite a few of these guys, but not now. So that we'll get into that as we get more into this current week's episode.
1001. Yep.
But I'll tell you this show last week, it's nonstop. Just like when we were there, it doesn't stop because you follow that up with the return of Team 3D.
Yep.
What?
But also the return of
Mocha Skin Manimal.
That I was
Rohit,
like popping
Raju.
big when he came down with champagne. I was like losing it because he's a friend of the show. He's one of my first interviews next to Bravo on this show, so it's very nostalgic for me to see him. It was great.
Oh, the Desi Hit Squad returns.
Yeah.
And that was very good to see. I thought it was going to happen at some point, and I was saying it. I didn't say him here, but I was saying that's who Team 3D was going to face.
Yeah,
now, I thought it could be Champagne and
Caviar.
And Shira. Champagne and Caviar. But I appreciated that they went back to the Desi Hit Squad. That I liked, and it was great seeing Rohit back.
Yeah, he played up his part in that so well. It was just really good to see him back because he's got such a charismatic energy to him that it's just enjoyable to watch.
It is, and like seeing him go through tables and stuff.
Yeah,
that's enjoyable too. But you're right, because at first I got to admit, when I first saw him, I started to cheer, but then I remembered that ain't what me and Rohit do. We don't cheer.
Yeah.
I boo him. I boo that man. Like behind the
scenes. Team 3D,
yep. He's a very nice guy, but I gotta boo Rohit. I gotta say, Rohit, you suck. Because that's what I say. But it was great to see him back. And I'll tell you, and we kind of talked about it. Team 3D was going to be over like Rover, and they were.
Oh, the crowd loved it, ate it right up.
It's like when I go any show at the 2300 Arena that Bully's on, which he is often like battleground shows, stuff like that.
Yeah,
House of Hardcore before that, he always gets cheered. So it's the same thing. He's going to get cheered, and I was happy to do it. And him and Devon, great to see them back together, hitting the moves. Definitely. Great time, highlight.
What a great reunion to bear witness to. That was like a big deal.
Testify. So we go.
What's up?
We go backstage. We go backstage to the Rascals eating some some White Plains pizza. Go ahead. What'd you think?
I get it confused. You said za, and I get pizza, but the kids are also calling the greenery the za as well, and so I thought you said eating the za.
I live
and it could also be code for smoking the za.
That's the first I've heard that was coffee. I thought you were going to say, was I talking lasagna? The other za?
Oh, yeah, that too, bro. I could go for some za.
New York vicinity, and you say za, it's the pizza.
It's the pizza, okay.
But it was a pizza. But I did not know the greenery was now referred to za.
Oh, yeah.
I learned things on the show.
I'm cool. I'm hip.
But it's funny you say that. Because Josh Alexander tossed their backpack across the hallway that I think had the other za, as I'm now being made aware of. That
bag must have been loud as hell.
So in the end, I think you kind of were right. I think it was both za meetings were in this
in session. Little za session. Za.
Now, it is interesting because we haven't seen them focus too much on that, but it's still the heel Rascals and not the comedy Rascals. So
but I think it's good for them to evolve from the
treehouse.
The treehouse and silly antics. I mean, they still have that part to them, but it's like a more mature version of it. Yeah. Slightly immature, but it's like they're in college. They're learning.
They're learning men now.
And I'm still trying to figure out what they're using as their spray paint. I have a bet running with Stefan that it's green hair coloring, like spray and hair coloring.
Yeah, like Party City stuff, like
yeah, exactly, stuff. Yeah,
stuff that just washes right out.
Exactly. Well, it'd be safe for the skin.
Yeah, and something because they're spraying it all over the place,
and it's an aerosol can, so it's not like a spray or any like one of those pump ones. It's like an aerosol spray. So that's just what my money is. If anybody behind the scenes knows in the chat, give me word.
We want to start spraying it on the show.
No,
we'll all go green for a night.
I have the hair glitter, but I don't think that needs to be. Oh, I'm sorry, Kat. I don't think that needs to be in the air.
Yeah, maybe that'll be a thing if we find out exactly what they're using. Maybe on a show where like they have a defense against somebody, that will be our thing. We'll all spray paint our hair green that night on our
like the Rocky Horror Picture Show when the rascals spray their green mist. Get your hair color out.
I'm just gonna throw toast at the computer.
Yeah, some rice too.
There you go. But
get the water guns out.
We get more Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, goes out to the ring about being a longtime Impact fan, and who comes out? The world champ. Yup, Alex Shelley comes out.
Yes, sir.
And he's obviously a TNA Impact legend. So
he looks like John Wick. Right? Is that the guy? The Keanu Reeves guy?
Yep.
Thanks. See, I know my current movies.
So, but
I watch TV
because obviously we saw this this feud with them before when obviously Josh was champion and honestly Shelley got his first world title shot and he was not successful in it. But there was this same comment made, and he makes it again during his promo. Mm-hmm. Like where Josh is kind of telling them to calm down as he's talking about it. And he says, "Are you a fan of me or are you a mark for me?" And he made that same comment before that he was a mark. And that's like the ultimate insult, the mark insult. Because obviously the wrestlers, that's what they think of us. We're a bunch of marks. But calling a wrestler a mark, a fellow wrestler, that's like the ultimate. Like that's you're just is it as Mayor says, is this the heel turn? That's what we thought when he was kind of in this feud last time. Was he going in that direction? But then he didn't seem to go fully that way. Like he teeters on it.
He gave the vibes.
Yeah.
I feel like these two, he definitely gave the vibes is that he could go either way at any time.
So that's kind of what we're starting to think. Are we going to get that? But then we get Josh challenges him. He wants the match, the Impact World Title match. And he accepts it. So we're going to get that world title match. Now, last week we didn't know when it was, but now we do know. We'll get to that. Because we find out that tonight, where that title match is taking place. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be something interesting. But then at that point, attacked by who we were just talking about, those rascally rascals.
Those rascally rascals.
They come out and they lay out Josh. But Shelley leaves, which once again feeds into this. Is he going heel or is he a tweener? Where we were like Dr. Gerb says, tweener. And maybe that's what it is. Like he didn't go against, he didn't go after him, but he didn't help him. Didn't help.
It's like a devil may care attitude. It's interesting.
Yeah. So, but hey, after this, the rascals you can't do that and not face consequences, right? So give me a shell, if you want consequences. Shark Boy.
Dishing out punishments.
He's dishing it out, right? He's telling Trey Miguel is facing Josh Alexander on 1001. So we'll be discussing that match shortly. That happened tonight. Then Kenny King, Sheldon Jean, they're talking to Santino. Kenny wants a rematch for the digital media title. But he says, sorry, you're going against Eric Young. So Eric Young on this week's episode So once again, you get that. Well, and we'll see it again, that tradition, because there's another guy that's been there. When you're talking Impact 1000, I know they put out a lot of the pictures of like the crew and then the ones that have been there for these episodes. And obviously Eric Young, he's one of the stalwarts. So looking forward to that match as well. So we go there. We're back in ring, and where is Trent when you need him? Right? It's the mixed tag. One of the ones I think Alisha and I have been asking for this entire time during this feud. You get Frankie, you get the legend Traci Brooks against Eddie, and the fantastic incarnation we now have of Alisha.
I got in trouble because I was cheering for Lish. Not like in trouble, but everybody in my section, obviously, we're all gonna pop hard for Traci because it's Traci fucking Brooks. But being a Lish fan, I'm going, go Lish too. And everyone's like,
tough.
No,
it's
Traci.
Tough not to root for him, like, because
I did yell serotonin a lot.
That's right, but you're right. Like, obviously, you get Traci Brooks coming out for the first time after all these years. You gotta root for them, but
thousands episodes, man,
done over the last year, and it was great. The after Victory Road. Have you seen the backstage footage in the locker room of I think Jordan Grace posted it, of like all the knockouts kind of welcoming
Deanna,
it was Deanna and all them being like how
with the champagne,
yeah. So kudos to her, like their locker room, like that's what people don't get. Like someone like Lish, who's been there a really long time now. She's one of the longest tenured, and see her kind of achieving this whole rise, the push, as I like to say, with this character and getting into a Knockouts title match. Maybe didn't win, but her just being in that is like a win in itself for where she's come. So great to see the whole locker room kind of rally around her. So once again, kudos to Lish. But
hits in the feels,
match,
man.
Yeah, and carries on in this match. Mixed tag action, back and forth. Obviously, a lot of bad blood over these months, but I would say the right winners happen. What would you think of this one?
I agree. And for the sake of being the 1000th
even though you were
episode,
rooting for Lish very hard and upset,
I was upsetting. I was going for both because it's like one of those things where it's like they're both awesome. So how can you pick a favorite? You got to just cheer them both and suffer the consequences of the fans around you.
And you're right. Like I had to do the same thing at times.
I loved it. I felt like Traci was very involved. A lot of spots between Lish and Eddie with her, and so it was just great energy with everybody. Like, I don't know, it was really awesome. Traci fucking Brooks.
and speaking of that, we gotta say where it ended after the match.
Oh yeah,
Kaz says, "Hit the video."
Yeah.
And not only after finding out that Don West and Mike Tenay were going to be joining the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, we get the video. It starts, Traci Brooks, and you're like, but I could tell by the voiceover. I'm like, this is Hall of Fame. It's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And bam, Hall of Fame.
Surprised her with it.
Like, had no clue. You could just tell, like, her face just kind of like it was just and there were the kid in the ring and all. It was
the audience watching on TV didn't even get to really see a lot of those segments where it didn't even get to see the full run times of everybody's speeches and stuff like that. And I don't know, that was just an incredible part of being there and feeling the electricity of these tapings, is because we were privy to a lot more that was said, and it just felt like nice to be part of such a monumental moment for her and her family too, because her husband and her son were there to to celebrate and honor. Like it was really nice, a little emotional.
Yeah, I have to go back, but I don't think there's ever been a surprise Hall of Fame announcement like that.
Not after, yeah, she comes out of basically retirement and has all these spots and then a good match, and then they lay that out. I think that's pretty cool. It's a nice surprise, I imagine.
Oh yeah, and I know people have been asking for it for a long time, like more members, because usually it's only a tag team, a solo act. There's never been even the commentary. It's a 2-person commentary team that went in together. So, but now it's that and Traci, and who knows? Like maybe we will have bigger classes and more, because maybe the whole Impact 1000 is realizing there are a lot of people deserving of recognition. And like during the all those Asylum reviews that Jay, Trent, I was in there on a bunch of them too, and there's a lot of people there that really they don't get that recognition. Like some of them are still there today, which is fantastic. They'll obviously
a lot of trailblazers,
like Sabin and company, like they'll all make that. But there's a lot of people that did it, and like Traci had a great run, but we obviously hadn't seen her in a long time. But that's somebody that should be acknowledged for being early in that knockouts division. So once again, great to see happen. Very cool moment to be there, and once again a surprise that we were not expecting. So we go backstage to Lio Rush with the fantastic GM Miller. That he's not worried about Chris Sabin, although we remember what happened the last time they were supposed to fight at Slammiversary. Didn't happen, really, because of what he did. And he's saying he's got to keep that title. Okay, all right. Whatever you say. So we go backstage. Tommy Dreamer. I can't get enough of Tommy with this digital media title. This is one of the best moments of his life, and he's going to defend the belt against anyone and everywhere. So that's good to see. Good to see.
Fighting
I know
champ.
that was definitely something that got people in different areas on opinions. I think it was a good thing because obviously with Busted Open, he does a ton of indie dates. He's out there doing things. It's not what you would think for like digital media, but he actually is kind of out there a lot. So we'll see what happens. And it kind of, I think tonight might make him a little more sense. So we'll get into that later. So then we get, I don't even know what to say. The X Division title match. Lio Rush, Chris Sabin. This is the main event of Impact 1000, part 1.
This match was insane to see in person, and I mean that in the best way possible. Is that I can't even put it. I'm getting jabberjaw here because like it was just so stunning to watch these two performers in the ring really like take each other to task. And it was one of those two of the best, dude. Like it was one of those matches where you genuinely had no idea what an outcome could be because they were just on each other like so fast and quick. It could have been anybody's match, and
it could have been like going in. Like,
nobody was a loser in this.
We didn't know we were getting this match. Like this was not advertised. So going in, it's like I don't see Lio Rush losing. But they never had that match to begin with. So it's like, well, what's going to happen? And then they're having the match and it's going back and forth. And then like as soon as like he came out, I'm like 10 times. Because that was going in the Slammiversary, the 10-time champion. But let the man say it himself.
I love this match!
Facts on facts on facts on facts.
Not a better choice to end that first week than have a man, the innovator of the X Division, 10-time X Division champion, Chris Sabin.
Yeah, I mean that was what a
and
yeah,
Leo,
dude.
no fault in Leo. Leo was
No,
fantastic. I think
no
we all
losers
want
in
to
this
keep
match.
seeing a lot more of Leo Rush. Like the longer, like hopefully Impact can have a lot more of Leo Rush in the future because that guy is just a talent. And if although I think it was revealed slightly after, like I think he's actually doing a concert tour in the near future.
Oh,
So
he does music. I didn't know this about him.
Oh, his theme song's him. That's him.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
He's the bad child. So I think
much respect. It's a dope theme.
So I think Leo's doing some other stuff, at least for part of the time. So
hopefully we see more. All right. But I'm sure this won't be the last. You don't put on matches like that on television at your full potential and then you don't come back. No, he's gonna show up. Impact somewhere else. Either way, wow.
Yeah, we'll definitely see much more of Leo. Hopefully, because I'm sure he'll still do some stuff with Japan, and then hopefully even more in Impact because he killed it at that X Division run. So definitely looking forward to seeing more of him. But obviously, after that, you get the classic old TNA vibes of the X Division wrestlers, just like a lot of all the faces coming out, putting them all on his shoulders. And that's your fadeaway for the episode. The classic. If you only had confetti dropping from the ceiling, it could have old
picturesque moment. I do gotta say this though. Small part of me was totally expecting Shelly because he kind of lingered after everybody kind of filed out after their well wishes and stuff. And I was like, oh, he's going to do something. He didn't do nothing. But I was like, oh, he's going to do something. He didn't do nothing.
Yeah, it's too soon because obviously now that, once again, we had this a couple months ago where X Division title.
He teeters.
Title, option C is out there at some point if they want to do it. You have Sabin cash in on his partner. Do you do it?
Or I don't know, man. They're the Motor City Machine Gun. Someone's got to pull the trigger, right?
That's right. Pull the trigger. Well, he's not.
It would be sad. Don't get me wrong. It would be totally sad if they decided not to go solo. But it would be also very cool.
It would be. And since you said pull the trigger and he's not here, we'll give you a little J. There you go.
He's in outer space in that clip.
He's in outer space in many clips. That's J-Bone. That's our J-Bone. J-Bone's still a little under the weather. Hopefully J-Bone's feel better, Bone Man, and I think we'll see you pretty soon. So I'm thinking next week we'll see the moon.
Yeah.
All right, so that is part 1. So you know what
now
that
on 2-part Dos Equis.
The Dos Equis episode. And once again, now where do we start? Part 2? Ultimate X.
Yeah, wow, right into it. We total non-stop Impact.
We knew nothing
total
about who was going to be in this match. We showed up there. We didn't know one competitor in this match.
Yeah.
But now we do. As they come out, you get Ace Austin. You get the return, and this surprised me. I wasn't expecting him. Samuray Del Sol.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool to see.
Yeah.
Speedball Mike Bailey, Richie Swann, and Zach Wentz. And the guy that winds up winning the match, Alan
Angels.
So I think that was out of left field. Like we kind of saw a rebranding once he left the design, but it kind of like there was some.
I had a feeling it was coming.
He had some losses. Like we weren't sure where he was going to go. It was a heel. He was still going with a heel persona, even though he left the design. But then this is huge. You win the Ultimate X match. And this kind of surprised me because, once again, we didn't know who was going to be in the match. and then we kind of see who is revealed. And I was like, because I always talk about when we talk about Ultimate X, the base. There's always one guy, one bigger guy. That's kind of the base in the match to do certain moves.
Not in this one.
Not in this one. This is
not in this one.
Not your typical formula of the Ultimate X. But that obviously led to a lot of different moves off the cables. Some crazy spots up top there where you're wondering what Mike Bailey was going to do at times. But then
Alan Angel's hanging from his leg.
Yeah, like him and Angels taking some crazy spots.
The triple backflip spot was stunning. Seeing it in person, great, and then watching it back on TV, it's just as flawless looking. They got a great angle of it. Yeah, no, that was cool. It was a great match,
and that's what you get out of an Ultimate X. Like you're going to get that. And and a huge win for Alan Angels. So definitely stay tuned to see what he does with this.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that Alan Angel's first Ultimate X match?
Ooh, because there's been more Ultimate X matches over the last couple years than
usual, and so that's what I'm wondering. If anybody in the chat knows, can you please post it?
Yeah, I
please and thank you.
I'm trying to think if he has been. I don't really think he has,
because then that's monumental.
He was more of a member of the design because he debuted in Georgia. And he went against like Mike Bailey, which was like a great start. But then he kind of did the design not long after that. And I don't feel like there was a design member in.
Because before I get the hype going, I'm just saying that's pretty monumental. If that was his first ever Ultimate X.
Slammiversary, he was.
Okay, all right.
There, so they did.
And then his second, he got it on his second try. Yeah. Second time's a charm. All right.
Yeah, because the Ace obviously has been in them before. So there was some history, but not everybody had history in them. So
no, that's cool.
I'll tell you, the one surprise is I guess I just assumed the whole time that they'd bring back somebody that like a past TNA person to be in the Ultimate X. I'm kind of surprised there wasn't, but they use this as a good platform for a lot of their guys. Because you had a lot of the nostalgia pieces, so this is to get the current roster over, which it's a fine mix you want to balance during the show.
The Ultimate X matches is one of those matches
concept,
that
new talent,
and it fits in. It doesn't age itself out like certain things. You know what I mean? Because they don't use it a lot. It still has that special feeling to it, and it just seems like no matter who they put in an Ultimate X match, it tends to be one of the sickest matches you're ever going to see.
Yeah, now here, and that's Gary's mentioned the name that I thought of the whole time. That's who I thought was going to be in the match.
I heard a lot of people talking about Amazing Red.
Well, he was supposed to be at No Place Like Home pre-pandemic, and he has been wrestling ever since. So I thought and it was in New York, so it seemed just natural, but it is what it is. But then here's something that now this is going to be a test because I talked to somebody else that was there that contacted me when this was announced, I think earlier today or yesterday. But the people there had no clue on this. And I want to see if you had no clue on this as well.
Probably not.
If we're all just missing. Jake something versus Dirty Dango.
This
was a time limit Fox box match. Oh. Is that a ghost?
Was there a light? That's what I keep thinking I'm seeing, but maybe it's the TV shifting images. Sorry, I didn't mean to take us off track. And normally...
But this match, Jake something and Dango. Let's get weird. I'm not going to say maybe someone was supporting Dango with merch sales at this show. But
it's only listen. Because I realize now how weird the T-shirt might kind of be. Because it says "Let's get weird" and there's a fucking van. Like a creeper van on it. So it's interesting choice in merchandising, but I really like the Let's Get Weird aspect of it without taking into account that there is a creeper band on it. But I love it. I had no problem buying it. It's a very soft shirt. It's good texture, so it's great.
But
I'm glad I got to see the old Dirty D.
But speaking of the Dirty
Such a prude.
This match, did you know this match had a time limit when we were there live?
Nope. I sure didn't.
Nobody did because they never said it did. But on TV, it did. And they brought back the Fox Box. Are you familiar with the Fox Box?
The Fox Box? What is that?
Well, during that era of Impact Wrestling, it was on Fox Sportsnet.
Oh, I get the reference
and
now.
They would do time limit matches, countdowns. And they did it on this match. So good throwback. Kudos to them. But like they're live, we were not in the know.
There was no mention of any Fox boxing.
But and there was also
for the live audience.
There was a judge, and it was one of the Naturals, Chase Stevens. So another throwback to the old days. But he was not there for us.
Oh my God! I'm like, what the? How did I was there? How did I not see him?
But so once again, like the stuff they do for. That's why you always, even if you're there, you gotta watch the TV product.
Yeah, well, I mean that'd be kind of weird though. Is like you go to a televised show, but you don't watch the show once it's televised.
It happens. It happens.
Well, I guess it's like you go to the pay-per-view, but you don't order the pay-per-view to watch later because you went to the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Dumb it down a little.
So then we go. We follow this. Obviously, Jake something gets the win off Dango. So. Bad night for Bravo.
He is huge in person. At one point, me and Stefan walked past Jake something, and I was like, "Wow! Oh my God, he's massive."
There you go. The TNI account, given it time was always in the upper third, and info from the Fox Sports scrolling on the bottom of the screen. That's correct.
What a little
Chase
nice
Stevens
little touch.
Backstage talking to David Penz, maybe. And that's the thing. There were so many people there. I'm sure there was plenty of people we never even saw, like there, but
just there for moral support.
Yeah, like they were just hanging, which is cool. Hey, more people the better. So we're backstage. Steve Macklin calling out Rhino due to what happened in that Feast or Fired match. But then not only he gets the trouble of getting gored backstage. So then you got the medical professionals and all looking after him. And then Rhino just going at him in a promo. Just pretty much saying whatever happens to him, like he's telling Santino, Macklin asked for it. Gloves are off. He's going. He's Frank the Butcher style on him right now. So look out for. So I think obviously we're going to be getting that match in the near future. Macklin and Rhino, which should be some good fun, some good violent, meaty fun for all those meat fans. Then we get to the aforementioned match from earlier. Eric Young, Team Canada Eric Young, with the coach against Kenny King, with obviously Sheldon Jeans, as we like to say in the corner. But we don't get really this match because we get interference early from Sheldon. So we don't want that. We don't want a DQ win. So what else but the one, the only, the deputy director of authority, Sharky, comes out and like, you know what? I see 4 guys. I see a tag match. We get tag team action. 2 for the price of 1. I love it.
Yeah.
You get the coach in the ring again. I feel like I've seen now coach in a few matches this year, and that's always a pleasant sign. Because anytime you get some of the destroyers, Petey Williams, it ain't just a setup move here in Impact Wrestling, like it is everywhere else in the world now. So we get this match, but what happens again? Diener and Khan get involved.
Yeah, fucking trouble.
DQ. Sharky has to make it an 8-man tag. And who comes out? We finally get what we've been hoping for. America's Most Wanted comes out. Wildcat Chris Harris, Cowboy James Storm. And they're joining with Team Canada. Team Canada, AMW, United.
Wow. Never thought I'd see the day.
Kenny King, Sheldon Jeans. And what's left? What's left of the design? So
Khan and Diener.
And once again, fantastic match here. Right? Like,
yeah,
James Storm always looking great in the ring. Like,
yeah,
the guy, kudos to him. Like, he's always been ready to go. Like,
yeah,
he looks better now than he did at the beginning of his career, an early Impact. So kudos to him. And Wildcat, I'll tell you, man, he looked pretty good. Like,
yeah, he did a great job
when he started coming back, like, into the wrestling, and like, I don't think he does it that often, but getting into the ring now, like, he's looking decent in there. Like it's kudos.
Get more confident.
Yeah. Like, so great to see both them in the ring because they're obviously that's a Hall of Fame tag team right there.
It was super special. Yeah.
So
it would have been funny if Gail or Jackie came out.
Yeah, oh yeah. Can-Am Most Wanted, awesome. Yeah, AMW and Team Canada. Oh my, how did it happen? Some of those early Asylum years, you're like, this can't happen. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Wrestling, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they get the win, which is awesome. Then they go to the promo from Team 3D last week, like after the match. And you get Devon talking about how he came back to the ring after this back surgery, after he had a stroke. And he's like crediting the fans for it. So very cool to have the moment. Oh my goodness. Is this true? From Anonymous? My guy, EC3, the NWA champion, is having a tantrum because he wasn't invited? Is he actually saying he was not invited to Impact 1000? That can't be. Can't be. But if he's playing it up for a story, I hope that results in an angle that gets the return of EC3 because I always welcome that. So, just a little. See, if you mention EC3, it's going to get off, going to catch my eye. But this is the segment now, Alisha, that I think might be tough. This is a Feast or Fired revealed.
Oh, jeez.
Busted Opens. Dave LaGreca hosting.
Not gonna lie, I cried.
So, you get not only the 4 gentlemen that have won cases, you have obviously 3 of them are associated in tag teams currently. So they're all there with their tag partners.
Yeah.
As the 4 cases are revealed. Now, in the past, there was always a world title shot, an X Division title shot, a tag title shot, and the Fired briefcase.
Yeah.
Now, some people were speculating it could change this year because there's a different title out there. And that is the case. Literally.
The digital media,
with the first case. Because the first one is Crazy Steve, and it is the digital media case. So now we kind of know where that's leading to Tommy Dreamer. Now, at first, when Tommy obviously got the title, there's a lot of people like, I don't get it, even though he does have
I get it.
a lot of access to digital media, shockingly enough. He does. But Crazy Steve, with this new crazy, like even crazier gimmick and just like out there and could do anything, fork you.
He's not Crazy Steve anymore.
Legend.
He's Insane Steve.
Insane Steve. Insane Steve. But then you have Tommy Dreamer, the innovator of violence. That kind of makes sense.
I think they're going to have a lot of fun together.
And let's not forget the whole Tom Anafin interview series where he said he wanted someone to speak, like he wanted a platform. Digital media? It kind of makes sense if Steve's going to be the one that maybe dethrones Tommy and carries that digital media platform. What could we get from Steve?
A lot.
Sounds like maybe a cult, but we'll see.
We're biased. We're big Steve fans, so like we are I think whatever they decide to do, he's going to be able to handle it. So I'm pretty confident. I like where that's going because honestly, I think a lot of us thought, based on, as we said earlier, it's tough to find out what was going to happen to these four guys. I think a lot of us were like, do they go with the cop out, as we'll say, and maybe have Steve get fired just to drive him even crazier and not be fired, but show up as just like unhinged in the audience going after people, Steven,
like something like that. Yeah, like
just like a regular.
They could have done something. Yeah, they could have done something like that, but they did not cop out with that because he got the digital media case. Then the second case, Moose, my man.
Yeah,
now
got a little predictable after this point, but
then Myers is there with him, so you're like, is it going to be a tag title shot? No. It's the world title shot. World title shot Moose. You know, I'm always a fan of that. So
yeah.
So
I love what he said to Brian, though, is that, oh, geez, I really was hoping we'd get the tag team titles, but I guess this will do. Oh, geez. Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, geez.
Gee whiz. Sorry, partner. I guess this just wasn't our night. I'll settle for this. You understand.
Yeah.
It's good, though. It's going to be good for Moose to get back into the World Championship department. I think he strives really well up there, so good for him.
Now, so then we only have two cases left. And we don't know what's in them. We know a fire's in one of the two. We assume a tag title shot's in the other. And you have two tag teams. You have Chris Bay there with Ace Austin, and you have Yuya, obviously, with Joe Hendry. So Chris Bay opens the case, world tag team title shot. So, and that makes a lot of sense because will they find, like, obviously, there's been this ongoing feud with the Rascals and the ABC. So, makes a ton of sense. Okay. So that leaves one case left with Joya, who we just rebranded with the ultimate entrance.
We had a lot of fun dancing to it, by the way.
A lot of fun. I'm doing the dance.
I don't know.
A lot of fun.
All I can really say is that the things I like about Joe Hendry about to leave.
Well, that's the thing you were saying, because I know there were some people that kind of soured on the Joe Hendry, the kind of the We Believe Joe Hendry. So this version, I think everyone was loving it. So for them to kind of do that, it reignited it. I had said to Stefan, though, I was like, it's probably got something to do. They're going to England pretty soon, right, for that England tour.
So, you know what I mean? I figure it all kind of stems around it's a limited group going for that. So it just makes more sense to kind of play it out that way.
It could be. Now, because I know a lot of people, because Impact has Memphis tapings this weekend. And they announced some matches for the live crowd to kind of get you excited, get people buying tickets and all that. And one of the matches featured Yuya against Josh Alexander.
Oh, I don't know.
Did they go red herring on us? Did Impact pull one over our eyes?
He'll get rehired. It's like just because he got fired doesn't mean he can't get rehired. That's, you know what I mean?
And
you can't break our hearts. You can't give us Yuya and then just stab us in the hearts, Impact.
A fired celebration. Now, and they're...
He said no champions, and I started fucking crying. I couldn't handle it. Like this poor baby.
I'll tell you, because I'm yelling at him all the time. Like when he won that case and he walks by me, I say right to him, I'm like, champions! And he says, champions!
Champions.
So,
no champions. Oh my God. My heart broke.
But Justin, I like this point. The optimistic view. I like it. Unless they use the loophole that he's not actually an Impact talent, but a New Japan talent, which is true, and therefore can't get fired.
They've done stuff like that before.
Or they're like, you were never under an Impact contract. We fired you from your New Japan contract, and now we're firing you for Impact Wrestling.
Some kind of swerve.
I like that. I like a swerve. I like a good swerve, and I think we could get one here. I have a feeling. I'm not gonna give up hope in champions.
Oh,
I think it could still happen.
Fuck, I still hear it. It's like fresh, with a fresh wound.
It is. So once again, very sad right now because we're all big Yuya fans. The Joya, we're loving it. But I'm gonna keep the faith. Keep the faith still. All right, so we go from there. We get Josh Alexander against Trey Miguel. Good match. Obviously, shenanigans trying to be had by the Rascals because that's what they do. They don't get away with it. They don't get away with it. Josh does get the win here over Trey. Good to see. And then Josh, he wants the match. Bound for Glory. World title. He never lost the belt. He wants that match with Alex Shelley. It's official. It's happening. Bound for Glory main event. It's set.
Yeah.
We got Josh Alexander challenging the world champion Alex Shelley in Chicago. So looking forward to that. We'll see if it winds up that way. I probably will. But it feels like other people might try to enter into this. But we'll see. I think it's probably locked in. As a 1v1. But then speaking of Bound for Glory, we go to backstage. Mike Bailey, Jonathan Gresham, about Will Ospreay, who we know is confirmed for Bound for Glory.
Oh, yeah.
And we get the match that was supposed to happen, Multiverse 1. Bailey versus Gresham is happening at Bound for Glory. So you're looking at, that's a match of the year candidate right there. Obviously there's no title on the line, but like the Multiverse show, that's going to be two of the best in-ring wrestlers going. So that's going to be a hell of a match. Actually, I was lucky. I saw Mike Bailey this past weekend at the Steel Stack SmackDown. Always puts on a fantastic show. So cool venue there at the Music Fest Cafe. All right.
That place is dope.
That very, very much.
What a good venue.
Yeah. Backstage, we see John Skyler with the Rascals. about trying to get a title shot, but interrupted by Ace and Bay, and then the Rascals get out of there. So you kind of know where that's hitting. That going after that title match, and now we're at the main event. The main event of part 2, and that is the 10 knockout tag match with the Legends, and it's just look at this team: Trinity, the Knockouts World Champion, Jordan, the Juggernaut Grace, Gail Kim, GOAT, Mickey James, all-timer, Awesome Kong, Hall of Famer, what did Raisha Saeed against the Virtuosa, Diana, Savannah Evans, Giselle Shaw, Tasha Steeles, Angelina Love with Velvet and Jay Vidal. Well, what a match. What a match. What a match. What'd you think? What'd you think?
This was just a lot of fun. And right off the bat, I have to say Gail was the MVP of this match. She was pulling spots that had everybody worried about her and dusted it off like the professional she is.
Yeah.
And just a constant reminder of why she's such a monument and pillar in the women's division of wrestling, like especially in Impact. Wow. She's great. It's just, what a cool event to see all those women in the same ring. And you never thought you'd ever see that. You know, it's just really cool.
Worlds were exploding. But Bear's asking, and so
it's like my idols, bro.
Yeah, because there was a spot in this match where Gail is on the apron and Velvet pulls her down. And I was on the opposite side. Now, I was watching this spot because if you're talking Gail, you're talking Velvet, I know where they're at. All right, so I'm paying attention. So I see her get taken down. And the way she goes down, I'm like, whoa, that looked
it looked gnarly.
Yeah, I look rough. But now I wasn't on that side, but then I did see the footage from the other side, and it looked just as bad as I thought it was.
Well,
it did look clean. Like it looked like, and the other guy mentioned the same thing. Like it looked like I thought like Gail almost wasn't expecting it, but it seemed like she wasn't expecting the leg that got taken. It was like the wrong leg got taken. Like it was almost like one leg was ready to be taken, but the other leg got taken, and that just threw it out of whack. And just her landing and all just wasn't there. But she popped right back up like a trooper.
Well, it took her a couple minutes. Luckily, what was going on inside the ring was enough to distract people from what it was. But I believe even at one point, Mickey James jumped down. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She jumped into that pile of people. Almost. Wow. She did some crazy ass shit. Wow.
Yeah. So it wasn't
so impressive.
Lasting. And I think she even said like afterwards she did get like I think she went to get tested, make sure she didn't have a concussion and all that.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking everything was okay, but no, that was definitely something that that's wrestling, man. You never know, because that's why you got to give kudos. These people are performing like this. There's always a risk, like no matter
always.
What. Even like you're talking like these takedowns, these simple things you see all the time, they can go wrong real easily.
They could go wrong in real life. I have a friend who broke her ankle just stepping off the curb of a sidewalk. So your bodies are delicate things, and it's not until something goes terribly wrong that you might realize
there's a reason. Like a lot of people, like if you just ran into the ring ropes, a lot of people without training on how to run into a ring rope, you'd hurt yourself.
I feel it. Oh God, give yourself whiplash.
Oh, be like, ah! Down you go. But once again, fantastic main event. Team Trinity gets the win here. Great way to end the Impact 1000 celebration, part 1, part 2. Everyone's saying in the chat, Gail was awesome in the ring. I'll tell you, the times we got it, we did see some face-offs with Gail and Deanna. That feels like that needs to be a solo match. if Gail can do it. It like obviously like I know a lot of other people have a lot more beef that Gail's last solo match was with Tessa, but I think that was still the passing of the torch was definitely the right call at the time.
Whether
I don't think that's a bad thing, but if she can still do it for a Deanna as well, that's fantastic if she can.
So, a controversial take, because we've all had our fun with the whole Tessa Blanchard thing, but I just really feel like just because she's made mistakes and stuff, like, I don't think that should strip her of her accolades in the business, because whether you love her or you hate her, Tessa Blanchard is still one of the best female wrestlers to ever exist. And
youngest Impact World Champion.
Well, it's like a reminder they put the belt on her, but not to turn it into about her or whatever, but it's like hopefully one day she can mend her bridges and be given a chance to do what she does best, and that's I'm sorry, wrestle.
And she's taken, and I think I'll be seeing her at the end of the month at XPW.
I'm so pissed I'm not going to that show.
But I know she's turning up on more and more shows. She's slowly getting back on the more and more shows. So, like she's paying her dues again to kind of get there. So
if we don't give people the room to learn lessons, how do they grow as individuals to become better people? And, a lot of these people, it's just in their blood. Let them wrestle, We got to stop being so anal about shit, I guess.
Well, and that's the thing. She was obviously, as I said, like that young world champion. Like she has youth on her side.
Quit getting fired up on Twitter, y'all. Fuck.
But I'm hoping, though, regardless of that, and I think we both are pretty much in the same lane on thinking that at some point to give her another chance. But hopefully we see more Gail in the ring. Hey, I like to see the beautiful people back. I'll take
Angelina Love can go. Like it would be really nice to see some of these people come, even if they do like a 6-month bit, a short bit, whatever. Why not? Like,
I guarantee
Angelina Love can still go. Seriously,
the ratings will still spike during the beautiful people segments because they always have. And
I wonder. I'm kidding. They're great.
And they did the gimmick like
no
at the end of the
about
match.
It.
The bag went on Jay. They did the bag gimmick, and that's where I popped when Velvet brought out the bag for the match because that's early beautiful people gimmick. The bag over the head.
The bag over the head.
They're making the world more beautiful, one ugly at a time. So it's like they went back to the original gimmick, which I like. So once again, I think any of these legends in the knockouts having any additional appearances are only beneficial for the company.
People loved it. I mean, that felt like a sold out show.
Now, Eli dropping some Iceman intel on us right now. Some of these knockouts are talking about Anthem to sign long-term deals. Now, Iceman doesn't usually just give you that. He doesn't usually give you some little tidbits. He gives you. There's usually some smoke behind his fire, or fire.
There's fire behind the smoke. Yeah.
So that's interesting. That's interesting. Who could be part of a long-term deal? I like the sound of this. I like the sound of this because I was just saying I welcome them any of them back. So I'm hoping we see it. So definitely after seeing the Impact 1000 episodes 1 and 2, I think that's something you can now. You don't have to just do your fantasy booking. Be like, who would you like to see more of? Because now it's all fresh. We have Bound for Glory coming up. Hard to Kill. In Vegas from all the rumors in January. So a lot of things going on where you could definitely see, I think maybe you play into some of this. Like you you bring some of this nostalgia back for, like, you don't go as hard as you did for these two shows, but a face here, a face there. I'm definitely for it. I think the fans are for it. I think it's definitely drum up a lot of interest these last couple weeks. So, any last thoughts on what you're taking from these episodes and moving forward?
They're going to be hard to top, is for one, because there was so much energy and action. Being at the show, it was like there was never a dull moment. So to see those, and I've been hearing a lot of positive feedback about these two shows, is that people felt very engaged with it. And if they can keep going and keep this ball rolling down the hill, chasing Indiana Jones, I think we're on the right track here. To really come out with some bangering shows.
Bangering. All right, and then just because I know you saw it too, BTI match, Gary loved it. The MK Ultra versus the Death Dolls match.
That was fun. That was actually, I was a little sad that was a BTI match, but it was a great match to see in person because both of those teams just kick so much ass. They're really, I just love how committed they are to the characters, and this goes for both sides, MK Ultra and the Death Dolls. They're very committed to the journey of their characters and telling the story in the ring, and they just do such a good job. I love it. I'm biased to house both teams.
Definitely.
I got Death Doll shirt, so that's I got the Bill and Ted Death Doll shirt, so I love that.
That's a very cool shirt. I can't believe I don't have that yet.
Also, Kylan King versus Jody Threat for last week's BTI was also a really dope match.
Yeah, we got to give BTI the love.
A lot of redheads in Impact.
There are. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I love being a redhead myself. It just has been a long time.
Oh, there you go. Who would have known?
Who would have known? I'm like Jeff Hardy over here with all my hair colors. But better.
Eli is reminding us, don't forget, at Hard to Kill, our world changes once again. There is a tease that our world is going to change again at Hard to Kill. So,
what does everybody in the chat think that is?
Yeah, what do you think? Let us know. Let us know if you're
predictions.
Not watching live. Let us know in the comments. And speaking of predictions, we got to talk about it. I know it's definitely not a good thing. It's a sad thing that there were reported releases today.
Save it for the end.
That time of year.
Well, also the merger and everything, I'm sure, has a big part to play with that.
Obviously plays a part in it. That happens in all of our everyday lives. Like, I've had it happen at my previous company where you combine, there's redundancies, or at least what's thought to be redundancies.
Overlapping positions.
Yeah. So then it's same thing here. Like, it's just, and I'm sure they're like new bosses have certain budgets, and they're like, what's this person doing? Are they on TV? Are they not? Are they doing this? And it's really not really saying anything on them. It's saying a lot more on the company and like they're creative and things like that. That's why we always give kudos to Impact that almost everybody on the roster is on TV.
They got room for everybody. Yeah.
They don't just hire people to have them do nothing. Like, it's more like if you're coming on, you have a plan, a storyline, and they're ready to run with you. If you don't, you're probably staying home for a bit or doing some other stuff where you're not there. But going over some of the names, there are some familiar names, obviously, that have been with Impact before. So we'll kind of, I'll just kind of give you like kind of all the different names that have been announced so far. So you have Mustafa Ali, Rick Boggs, Aaliyah. Boogs, but you're right, and I knew that too. I've actually seen Boogs, but it was so many years ago. I'm my baseball head looks at that and says Boggs. Riddick Moss or Madcap Moss.
Madcap Moss, yeah.
Who's connected to another wrestler that we'll discuss shortly. Top Dollar, Sheldon Benjamin, world's greatest tag team. Then Emma, obviously Tennille Dashwood, who was recently
right.
I know the big name a lot of people are talking about is Dolph Ziggler. But that kind of, I think, covers most of the names from today. But and he's probably the biggest name out there.
Did you say Elias?
Yeah, Elias. Yes, you may have cut out them, but yes, yeah, because he's probably the other big name that has done. So let us know, and once again, in the chat, if that's obviously, I'm sure just like every other time, Impact will probably take a look. Maybe they're like this person. They might reach out to a couple if they think they could be someone that could fit in with the locker room and the Dana Brooke. I didn't know if that was. I did hear that. I wasn't sure if it was official because that's another. That's
at the beginning of the show. Yeah, that's what I said. Is that if she was one of the names on the list, I think she would do great at Impact because she's very talented, very athletic, and it's like Naomi, where we've never even seen her full potential because they've always held her back. I'll say that confidently. They have always held Dana Brooke back, and I believe that she is a very talented, gifted wrestler and character worker. So I would be very interested in having her come to Impact if that was a possibility.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And then I know, let's see, and Dr. Gerb's here. Like, obviously, Tennille has a history with Impact. I could see that return. And obviously, she's with Madcap Moss there. So maybe that could be. Because obviously, Impact has never been shy about couples being in the company. So
this one.
And then, Mansoor. Yep.
I watched think I saw his video. Once. I would say this guy too has got a lot of potential because he did a video announcing his stuff and his release, and it was very clever and thought out and good-hearted and natured. I found that very, very impressive and professional.
It seemed like a lot of the wrestlers this go around, like most of these talents, I think announced their own.
I feel like a lot of them might have been ready to go because Mustafa Ali, almost 2 years ago had asked and they denied him and then released a bunch of people to rub it in his face. Like a lot of those people wanted out. Dolph Ziggler he didn't get fired. He let his contract expire.
Yeah, so I think some of them did, but I think some of them are also surprised because I think poor Tennille, I think she promoted 2 hours earlier that they were going to Australia for something.
Yeah, that's shitty.
Oh wait, forget that. I'm fired.
Yeah.
That's.
I didn't see that. That sucks. Yeah.
But once again, hopefully, a lot of these talents get. I'm sure there will be. There's a lot of wrestling
sea
out
is
there.
Vast and wide. I'm sure you'll swim up to someone's shore and.
I'm sure the coach is on it right
as
now.
a castaway. I'm using terrible ways to explain it, but you guys are all going to be all right. Wrestling is at a peak again.
That's right.
There's room for everybody.
Definitely let us know in the comments. Drop them in later if you want to comment on anyone you think Impact might make sense to go after, and we'll see what happens. But obviously, before we end, don't forget to hit that like button. Ring that bell for notifications. Do all the things for you.
Subscribe.
Content. Subscribe.
Also get some likes. If you want to hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you're not already here weekly. Well, just help us get on the algorithm. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And then make sure you're obviously listening on audio too, because when you're working out,
we're everywhere.
When you're in your car,
in your ear hole, telling you
that ear hole. Listen
about
to the
wrestling.
TNI show about wrestling, Impact wrestling, and occasionally about some other people's wrestling that may or may not come on board, but. I know
the name keeps us pretty restricted.
Yeah. As Gary's here talking about subculture, it looks like we will see subculture at the
England
UK
tour,
cool,
yeah, or the UK tour,
like
excuse me.
Pretty much the official like roster that's going over there from Impact. I think it's about 12 talents, which is, I guess, similar, maybe give or take a few, not including subculture, but if you include that, more like that 14, 15, a little more than it was in Australia. So be very interested to see how that kind of all plays out over those months. But once again, very good Impact 1000 part 1 and 2. We'll see in the future if episode 1001 was tonight, or if it will actually be next night, and it's 1000 twice.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, we can't forget Grado. Come on, everyone's
reuniting with Joe Hendry.
Everyone's been waiting all night for talking about Grado returning, because Grado is fantastic. He's like a prayer that's been answered. If you know, you know.
It's like a dream to me, buddy.
Is it Odark? Because he's also owes my money?
Yeah, you gotta have that in. Speaking of Shira and company, you can, obviously, if you haven't seen it yet, catch them on the new Netflix series, Wrestlers. Featuring all the OVW stars and our favorite referee, Daniel Spencer. So that should be very cool.
That's on my watching list.
Yeah, some of my friends even messaging me about that show and kind of asking me, because they know I've been to a few of the OVW shows over the years. So definitely check it out. Very cool. But I think that's about it. Any last final thoughts to the crew, to the TNI fam before we leave?
Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we covered the show adequately for everybody who suffered through it. We appreciate it.
For 2 episodes, we gave the people what they needed.
We gave it to you fast and efficiently, with extra sauce on the side. All right, there you go. Hopefully you saw it that way. And thank you again, as always, for listening. Yes. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, so we will see you again next Thursday, or Thursday, as we like to say, to cover the first of the episodes out of Graceland, baby.
Ooh.
So we'll see what happens there. New venue, new city, new fans. The fun that will happen. So until next time, we will see you later, and take care, and good night.
We own the night.
Oh, we own the night. The song, is it back next week, or do we get this intro, the Impact 1000? Are they? What do you want? What do you want, fans? Do you want them to have more of like a? What have you thought about the last 2 weeks, or we own the night?
I think we're ready for new.
Ready for new? Okay. Ready for new.
I'm ready for new. Because
right.
I'm
Let
tired
us know in
of
the comments.
It getting stuck in my head. Okay. On that note.
All right. Good night, everybody.